Sometimes perception can be people's reality if you allow it. I can remember growing up in the 60s, okay? And the fashion then was that hairstyle he's wearing now, I had that same hairdo, okay? I had that hairdo.
Right.
And I can remember when you went out in the evening, at that point in time, leather jackets were cool. But the problem was if you were black and you wore a leather jacket, the optics were, is this guy a Black Panther? Because that's what the Black Panthers wore. Right. And so, without even having a conversation, people assume that. So I lived this life, lived it my whole life. I see it. We're in a better place than we were in the 50s and the 60s, or even when my father was married to my mom, who was a German war bride. They were married. He served in the Army for 27 years, fought in the Korean War and World War II. And because he married a German war bride, he could not get stationed in the South. How about that? Could not get stationed in the South. That's why we ended up in California, to be quite honest. Interracial marriages, you couldn't go in the South and live there. He served our country. He fought for our country. He was in the Army. Okay, so I get it. I sit here and I get it. I see it. I lived it. And we need to talk about it sometimes. And Colin has taken a step because he's an athlete. People say, just be an athlete. I've always told my athletes this. Your occupation doesn't define who you are as a man. You have every right that every other person has on this earth, regardless of what your occupation is, to speak your mind. And he's done that. Growing up in the 60s, my father told me, look, son, he said, your rights have been fought for. I put my life on the line for you to live in this country so you would have an opportunity. Opportunities that I didn't receive growing up in the South. So you have the freedom to speak. You have the freedom to ask questions. You can ask people why. You don't have to just buy into this is the way it is. You can ask why. You have the right to do that. I put my life on the line so you could do that. Don't you ever forget that.